Welcome to the family with
Doug Sprinthal
and Andy Bernard.
And of course, 10 to 15 minutes from now, the women will show up. That'll be good. Okay, I got to run the. Actually, it's kind of fortunate they didn't show up on time because I ran this by the morning show and run it by you guys. This is the top story on wisebrother.com. They're a pretty reliable news source, aren't they, Andy?
Wise Brother. I mean, they're an entertainment source.
Yeah, entertainment source. Their top story this morning, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will announce their split on September 28th, according to a supposed breakup.
That can't be.
That's what it says. So you think this is all just scammy somehow?
Well, for a couple of reasons. Is anybody else reporting it?
I don't know.
Because that would be,
probably be better.
Everybody would pick that story.
You would think so, yes. But did you think they put it out there just to garner attention?
No, yeah. I tell you, the new thing on Facebook is, and these pages say satire, but they're like Robert De Niro, Donald Trump will imprison Robert De Niro if he's reelected.
Yeah.
And people are like, fucking A, let's go. Yeah, he should be in prison, blah, blah, blah. And you open the about the page info. They're all from Vietnam. I said, okay, ask yourself this question. And it's some weird group like Off-Road Mutters. So if Donald Trump threatens to imprison Robert De Niro and you're reading on a Facebook page about off-road driving out of Vietnam, does that possibly mean it might not be true?
Well, there you go. It's an outside chance.
So, and the other thing is, if you were going to break up with somebody, do you need a 3-week notice? I mean,
well, if you're that big a deal, I suppose, you're so busy. It does garner attention.
Well, it does. And, and when it garners attention, it sells advertising, which is
no doubt
kind of what it's all about.
Well, it's money. Everything's about money now. Everything on earth is about money. As a matter of fact, I did see something this morning that California, I think 2 days ago, or maybe it was just yesterday. Maybe it was yesterday because 2 days ago was a holiday. But they've passed a bunch of new California laws to help the people, they say. And one of those was the new minimum wage in all of California for all jobs is $20 an hour. And that was apparently announced yesterday or came to fruition yesterday. So far in 24 hours, 10,200 people have lost their jobs.
Oh, no.
Where are they going to get the money? That's the only place they're going to get the money. I mean, these politicians have never run a business in their lives. I just don't understand when they're going to understand. You can't pay that much for every job.
No, you cannot.
On a related note, that's one of the things that the Harris and Walz campaign have been talking about is basically price caps and all that sort of stuff. Nixon did that in the 70s. It didn't work, and it caused the huge inflation problem.
It did, yeah.
Years to fight out of it. That's just a bad strategy.
They're just trying to buy votes with promises like that. And then what happens? 10,200 people lose their jobs. That's not good. Alex, what's up? I didn't know you were going to be in today.
Yeah, I'm going to be here on Wednesdays. Tuesdays are the days I won't be here.
So you're going to be here Monday, Wednesday?
Monday, Wednesday, yep.
Okay, good. I'm glad we know that. You're very brightly dressed this morning. Got your yellow outfit on. Yep. Andy's going to pop you up on screen.
It's my first day of 2nd and 3rd grade today, and I start in pre-K tomorrow.
So what time do you start today?
You.
Okay, we're going to run this by you before I continue.
Oh, dear.
I'm going to read this story. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will announce their split on September 28th, according to a supposed breakup. Do you believe that's true?
I don't know. Probably, maybe.
Yeah. I don't care.
I don't care.
I mean, their whole lives are fake. I can guarantee you that.
Well, that's true.
Well, even if it's not fake, say they are deeply in love, Mazel tov. They still have teams that they need to run everything by, and it's all a big, we have to...
You can't say or do anything without potentially costing some company $10 million.
Exactly. So it's like, even if they are together and they are going to break up, I have no doubt that they'd have to schedule it and plan exactly what it would need to say. Absolutely.
Well, there you have it. So
yeah, because when you think about rational people, football players and rock singers come to the top of the list.
Exactly.
They're right up there with
very low emotion and high self-control.
Librarians.
Yes. Hey, she's here.
Nana's here.
Hey.
God, is it noon already?
Oh, great.
Well, what?
So Jude decided he needed to take 100 moves this morning.
You did? 100?
Jude.
It was impressive.
Hi, Judy. Oh, I got to
Interesting.
come over and lick my legs. He always
That was
does.
impressive, I have
The
to
leg
say.
licking greeting.
Leg licking. One good thing for me is that as it starts to get colder, I'll have to wear long pants so he can't lick my legs anymore.
That will be one good thing.
You
The
mean
one good thing from it
like
all.
Thursday? I think it's going to be 45. And
That's what I heard. It's gonna be-
Tomorrow?
Friday. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
It's supposed to be
at night.
84 today.
It's gonna
I
be
know.
cold this week.
Oh, at
Yeah.
night. Psh,
No.
Well,
during
yeah.
the day.
The low, no, it's going to be like in the mid 70s, low 70s, getting down to high 60s
Right.
over the
it
next
is.
week.
Yep.
Tomorrow I have. Well,
Okay, Jude, that's good. Go on. Go on.
Jude.
Go on.
I'm trying to plan my wardrobe because I'm like, if I'm in preschool, I'm going to be doing a lot of things on the ground.
Mhm.
So I'm like, well, I have to wear pants anyway. So that's
Yeah.
So that'll be fine. That'll all work out in the end.
Yeah, but a temperature swing from the 80s to the 40s, you're not
yeah,
in.
that's big. Yeah,
So it's
you
going to be
haven't-
40
you're not in
tomorrow
the
morning,
waiting room
I'm not
yet.
in the
I
waiting room.
think Friday morning.
Friday morning. It's going to get down to in
Friday
the
morning
40s.
it will be cold.
We're going up to Stillwater. Lane Christensen's getting married on Saturday.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, we're
wow.
going to try to talk her out of it.
Talk her out of it. Absolutely.
I don't know if have you ever met Laura? His
Yes,
fiancée?
many times.
Many
Lovely
times, yeah.
woman. Really
Absolutely.
lovely.
Very
She is.
nice. I've never understood it.
Catherine says what? Never mind.
Well, she
I
feels the
think
same way about
she
our
gets
marriage.
money from the state. It's kind of
20
the
bucks an
Catherine
hour.
Brant Bernard, gifts for wayward wives fund.
I think.
It's $20 an hour to be married.
Still
to
not the
Lane.
right one.
Well, it was the top one on the Gmail.
Alex figured it
That's-
out.
That's sometimes you have to refresh it and
Yeah.
then wait a few minutes and then refresh it again.
Always check the date on the email before clicking it.
Well, there's
And today
Stop
would be
hovering over
Dan's
it.
birthday.
There.
Happy birthday
7:52.
to Dan.
It is Dan's actual birthday today.
It is actual
we were
birthday.
misinformed.
Yeah,
by,
they called him
39?
40.
40.
He's 40.
He's
Wow,
the
he's
big
40.
40, man.
He's 40 today.
Mhm.
Yep.
You know, every so often, Melissa's like, "You're only 2 years away from 40." I'm like, "Yeah, I suppose I am."
I don't know. I feel like you and I are the same way about like birthdays and age and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
yay. Like
Age
I don't.
is not,
It's but a number.
it's
There's
cliche
Nana.
as hell, but yes, it is really just a number.
I don't know. I think once you hit 40, it's going to be like a little bit like, oh my God, I'm
You
half, I'm halfway to 80.
See, I feel like I've waited my whole life to be in my 40s. Like
Mhm.
that's gonna be
your
like my
decade?
sweet spot. Like
Hmm.
I've always been in my 40s
You're gonna
a
start
little bit. So
Drinking
Yeah.
I feel
mimosas
like
at 8 a.m. and-
True.
so I feel like once that happens, I'll be like, finally,
Finally, I
This
can
is-
act my age.
this is where I've wanted to be.
See, I'm waiting to be in my 80s.
80s?
Mhm.
No, that's all.
You can say or do
No.
anything.
Well, that is true. But
Who's going to
That's
stop
true.
me?
80 is.
I'm a frail old man. You can't push me over.
That's what your sister said about Pat O'Brien. That
Oh,
whenever,
God.
when he got around 60, he would never pay for parking because he wouldn't have his ticket and he would call the little buzzer thing and he'd just keep going, what?
Yep.
What?
Exactly.
Who? And they would just buzz him through.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah, I miss
awesome.
That's what you do. You just
Life
act like you
hack.
have no idea what's going on.
Yep.
And people will just pat you on the head and send you on your
Okay,
merry way.
dear. Okay.
Yeah,
Absolutely brilliant.
absolutely. Why
You
pay
two-
for anything?
I
You
agree.
two kids don't remember Pat O'Brien, I bet, do you?
A little bit, yes.
You
little
met
bit
him at
early.
Jenny's wedding. I think
Yes.
that's the last time I ever saw him, and that was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yes.
But he was one of my favorite people in the world. I loved Pat O'Brien. Well, first of all, any guy named Pat O'Brien who's half Irish and half Puerto Rican.
Yes, the
Now we're
internal turmoil is
The internal
You
turmoil.
talk like
So
Rosie
I-
Perez. That'd be really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that would be. I'll let Tommy, his youngest brother. Tommy and I are really, really good friends. Went to St. Anne's together in the whole deal. But so, Tommy, I know you're listening. I adored your brother Pat, and I really miss him. And I hope Mike and the whole family.
there were a
Great
lot of
people.
stories about him.
About Pat.
Yeah, he wasn't he a school teacher in a pretty rough school?
North High School.
Yeah, and he was very
Lincoln
mild.
Jr.,
He was a
and
very
then-
mild mannered man,
He was.
but he kept his students under control because he said all you have to do is act crazier than they do.
100%.
Well, he could do that. That he
You
could
just do
do.
that when no one else around. You just act super psycho, and they'll just leave you alone.
The O'Brien family, I will never forget. One of the girls, I don't know if it was Carmen or who it was that was getting married at St. Anne's in North Minneapolis, and I was late, so I sat in the back row of the church, and I don't know how he saw me, but Mr. O'Brien, the father of the family, he saw me sitting in the back. He goes, "Hold up, hold up."
Oh,
He goes to the back, grabs me, and literally puts his arm around my shoulder and grabs my shirt and leads me up to the front row.
oh, geez.
Your family, you
Little
can't sit back there.
A little
I'm like,
embarrassing.
okay.
Hey.
And I don't mean it as a negative way, but Mr. O'Brien was an ardent Roman Catholic, except one time it didn't work out because he was coming home from maybe it was a bar,
Maybe.
went by St. Philip's Church, did the sign of the cross, and ran right into a parked car.
Oh no.
Doing the sign of the cross. Speaking of
Speaking of DUIs,
well, you know, that's
well, it turns out that guy that killed those people at Park Tavern,
yep,
he didn't have 3 DUIs. He's had 5.
five.
Yeah.
And
Five.
Oh boy.
his blood alcohol content was 0.36, 4 times the legal
Mhm.
limit.
Then I looked at a bunch of the comments, and they were like, "Oh yeah, my brother didn't. He's had 10, and he finally did jail time in 9."
I know,
Number
it's
9.
Insane.
Really?
How lenient we are with
What
DUIs.
happened to Mothers Against Drunk Drivers
Yeah, you don't hear
and
about that
zero
anymore.
And all
tolerance
that.
for this kind of stuff? I don't understand
Yeah, what
how.
happened to him, Doug?
I don't know.
Why don't they
I'm
have
not
to
a
blow
mother.
into a tube or something?
Something, yeah. Speaking of that, on the way in this morning, I left at 7:15. I got here at 8 minutes after 8.
Oh,
There was a 5-car accident on 394.
oh.
So would somebody check and see if, I hope everybody got through that. 'Cause
I didn't
there
see
were-
any debris on the road.
There were 2 ambulances there, so I'm kind of wondering if
Roughly where?
there was at
It'd be
394 in
394 and
Louisiana
Hopkins Crossroad.
or Hopkins Crossroad.
That
There you
would be
go.
Minnetonka, I think, right?
Would that still be
I
Minnetonka?
think that might be Minnetonka.
Yeah, it was it's 394. And yeah, you're probably right. Just kind of by Hopkins Crossroad
Or maybe it's
before
not.
you get to Louisiana. And it was
2 hospitalized after multi-vehicle crash on I-394 in Hopkins.
Oh.
1 in critical,
Oh.
3 cars and a truck.
You know, it's really no wonder sometimes that there aren't more accidents on that highway, because you've got these people going below the speed limit.
Yep.
And they're paired up, and you can't go into the sane lane unless you want to pay. So people are trying to jockey around these 2 tiny little lanes going into
Mhm.
town. It's just
The other thing is the time
Yeah.
of year. I noticed this. I left at 7:30 from Red Wing to come here, and driving down my little street is straight into the sun. And-
Oh God, yes. Oh
and
yeah.
it's
That's-
that,
yeah.
it's this time of the year.
yeah,
when
that's true.
it might have been. A little
Yeah,
bit.
That's
yesterday I was in
394.
I was
Yeah,
in
it's right
line
into the
to
sun.
drop some stuff off at the Goodwill, and it was right at that angle. The sun was shining off my car hood, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't get away from it.
I know.
I finally
There
I
is-
pulled my shirt over my head. I couldn't take it anymore.
Driving with your shirt over your head. That's
no,
a good idea.
I was
Really
in
good
I
idea.
was in line.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it. No, but Doug's right. That sun is so bright,
It
and it's
is.
right there.
That angle, and sunglasses don't do any good.
No.
That glare is just
The
terrible.
Minnesota
Yeah.
winter sun is the worst when it's at a low angle. I
Mhm.
don't know why. It just pierces right into your retinas.
I know it's interesting because we spend more than half the year down in Florida, and when you buy a pair of sunglasses there, they're very dark.
Yeah, they
very
are
dark. And the sunglasses up here are not that dark. They need to be
Oh, I
darker.
suppose, yeah.
I think it's because they think it's the north. They don't need the.
Well, with all the
Huh.
white sun,
I know.
and
I
everything,
think
and
you
the
almost-
rain, the snow, like winter. I feel like I need sunglasses constantly.
Me
It's
too.
just bright.
There you go. Well, I'm sorry to hear that somebody's in critical condition, but I saw that and I went, somebody's got it. There are 2 ambulances
Oh,
there.
man.
Somebody's really hurt. So it
That's
turns out, yes, that
terrible.
did happen. But yeah, 53. Normally it's a 10-minute drive. It took 53 minutes to get
Yeah,
here.
you had an
Jeez.
accident
Whoa.
like that.
Yeah.
And people still driving like nut jobs when it's backed up. I mean, it's backed up it was almost backed up into Wayzata, by the way. It was
Wow, you're
almost
kidding.
it was backed way up.
miles and miles.
But people just cutting in front of each other, cutting people off. Like, we're doing 2 miles an hour. Why are you cutting someone off?
They're trying to get to work.
I guess.
They've had 4 warnings and they're going to get fired.
That's right.
You never
Well,
know.
nothing anybody could do about that. Once you got on that highway,
No.
you weren't getting off. I can tell you that. It was
No, and nobody leaves for an hour early when you're 10 minutes to the city.
no question about
Even
that.
when
So.
it's snowing, you wouldn't usually need an hour.
So what else is new on the docket for today? Anything, any good
What's
news other than
new?
car accidents with critically injured people?
You start your other job today.
2 of the 3
2 of the 3.
classrooms that I'm in. Yeah. I was in only 2nd grade last year, and now I'm in 2nd, 3rd, and pre-K.
Yeah. And then how did the kids do going back to school yesterday?
Oh, great. They walked in the school and they're like, bye, Mom. And went to their classrooms. I was like, absolutely not. I will be going into your classroom.
You didn't have a tearful goodbye?
Nope. They were like, see ya. They're both very excited to get back to school and
So Sage is in 2nd grade now.
1st grade.
First grade.
Bonnie's
Fawn's in
third.
third.
Don's in 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a couple
Yeah.
of clicks into
Mm.
junior high.
She
Yeah.
keeps on
she
saying
is.
that. She's like, pretty soon I'll be in junior high or middle school.
I'll be
'cause
smoking.
middle-
Just to let you know.
Yeah, I know. I was
And stealing the car.
That's right.
Yeah. Can't wait.
We learned something interesting about our school district yesterday.
What's that?
Middle school starts at 5th grade.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
like that at all.
That's way early.
I don't like
think.
5th graders in with 7th graders.
8th graders?
grade.
Yeah.
No, no.
Well, no, I think it's 5th to.
It's probably 5th through 7th.
Seventh,
and then
yes.
8th is high school.
Yeah.
They do that as the demographics or the
Well,
ages
yeah,
of the
8th
kids.
graders with
change
12th
and
graders.
No.
Absolutely not.
Ours was junior high went to 9th and 10th, 11th, 12th
Yeah.
was high
Yep.
school.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
middle school at 8th. Wait,
No,
7th
our
grade. 7th grade.
yeah,
I think.
our elementary school went through 6th, which
Yep.
usually middle school starts at 6th. But our elementary school went through 6th,
Right.
and then middle school was 7th, 8th, and then high school.
Yep.
Yeah, because
9th
I
through
feel
12th.
like the junior high years are the worst.
Terrible.
Oh, they are.
So is junior high
Horrible
the same
people.
thing as middle school?
No, junior high is separate, so it's like its own building with just those
So what
grades.
grades
and then
is
middle
that?
school is when elementary school goes through to middle school to 8th grade.
Ah,
I know, just like watching some, choirs and things in middle school. You're like, okay, there's Cardi B,
yeah.
who's dressed like Cardi B, and then
Yeah.
there's the kid that hasn't even grown yet
I know.
and looks like a child.
Well,
It's
I
like there's
remember
a huge range.
when I was in 6th grade, I was still like relatively small and childlike. But then in 7th grade, that summer is when I had like a big growth spurt.
Yes.
But like I can't imagine being in middle school when I was still like,
I know.
very childlike.
And some
Well,
kids,
that's-
some boys are shaving,
Yeah.
by 9th
Yeah,
grade,
that's
8th
true.
grade. My goodness.
Yeah, like this, our school goes through 8th, and there's definitely between I'd say, yeah, after 6th grade, the 7th and 8th graders look a lot older than the 6th graders.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's definitely, especially the boys, because I feel like they go through their like growth spurts
they sure
and
do.
puberty stuff like at that time. The girls,
Yeah,
some
one
of
year
them
they come
do,
back
and
from
then
they come back from summer break and they're just like grown up.
yeah, and the girls, some of them do, but then some of them still look really young because I feel like girls can go through all that a little bit later.
Yeah, they can.
But yeah, it's interesting coming back. Like I saw some kids that were in 6th grade last year, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're like a foot taller!
Yeah.
What's going on?"
Hi, Mrs. R.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's
know.
exactly it.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to be in preschool too because preschoolers are just so freaking hilarious. I've substituted in preschool the last 3 years, and it's been really fun. So it'll be fun to be there, and because I'm there with the 3-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
And they don't
God.
really have any idea what's going on.
No idea. It's awesome.
No.
It's awesome.
They just don't know what's
No,
going
it's
on.
fantastic.
It's
And I feel like
chaos
I
at
can
that
just
age.
dress as ridiculously as possible, and they'll be like, "I like your outfit."
Mhm.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yep. They don't
Okay.
care about anything.
I love preschoolers so much.
You know that walk you have to take to get to either Red Cow or 925 from our house.
Mhm.
Nana and I were out for a walk with Judy, and on the way back, that preschool is right there as you turn the corner.
I think it's a
Oh,
daycare.
it's a daycare.
It's
Yeah.
a daycare, I think.
Well, but they're all very, very
Which
young.
you
They
can
are
do,
young.
Which you can do. Preschool daycare is hand in hand a lot of the time.
Well,
Oh, okay.
there are a lot of little 2, 3,
They
4
look
year
like
olds.
they're under 6 for sure.
Oh, definitely under 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But-
Daycare would be
Most of them seem littler.
daycare is typically under 5.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because then they
So-
go to school.
As you go to the end of because it's all fenced in, obviously, for the kids. And as you go, you look down the street angles down to Lake Street, right?
Yep.
Nana and I are walking Jude. Look out there. There's one of their balls right in the middle of Lake Street.
We're
block
always
away.
retrieving
Oh, yeah.
toys on the other side of the
Absolutely.
fence. Always.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Here's some chalk. Toss it back
Toss it
over the
back.
fence. How did the broom get on the street?
Yeah, that's right. The broom was on the street.
Better throw
There
the
was-
broom over the fence
there was
before
a
it gets
pla-
run over.
There was a plastic piece of something too that you had to throw back in there.
I think that was one of those. It's like a collapsible straw kind of thing that you connect to other things. I don't know what
Yeah,
they
right,
were called.
exactly.
Like tubes that you can. They make a funny sound when you pull.
Oh,
them out,
yeah.
And then I don't know what they're called.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was on the street.
God, it was hilarious. Go right in the middle of Lake Street, traffic and all the rest of it. There's a ball just sitting there right in the middle of the street
I know.
because a kid pitched it over the fence.
And then every once in a
Yeah.
while you hear a knock on the window and you're walking by with the dog and they want to look at the dog.
let's
Yep,
see
they
the
want to
dog.
see the dog.
I
That's
walked.
true.
I walked to go pick up the kids from school yesterday, so we walked home because I feel like they talk to me more when
That's
we
a great
walk
walk
home.
anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's just about a mile.
Oh, you'll get all the
So
dirt
it's
when you
good.
spend some time alone with them.
But
Yeah.
if I pick them up from school in the car and then I drive them home, which rarely ever happens because I'm usually there,
Mhm.
they don't say anything. They sit in the car. How was school? Fine. And then they go home and then they go off.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want the lowdown on the first day of school. So we walked home and I got all the
Was
information.
it
and
good? Do they like their teachers? No.
Sage said his teacher is very, 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 very nice. And she's got to be the nicest teacher in the whole school. And he had a great time. And he's
wonderful.
back. He's part of a group of 3 little buddies. It's him and 2
Uh-oh.
other little boys. And they're like just thick as thieves.
Oh,
and
good.
hung out together. He has a new boy in his class and a new girl in his class, but he didn't talk to either of them.
Oh, that's unlike him.
I know. Yeah.
Give him a day.
I was going to say, I feel like by the end of the week, he'll be like,
He'll
so
know their whole life story.
Absolutely. But Fawn has a new girl in her class and she played with her and
Oh.
they hung out and she
See?
Good.
well, I was there while she was, all the 3rd graders had to get their books and their desks and stuff. And I am in that classroom. So I was like, oh, I'll help out and whatever. And she sits diagonally right behind Fawn. And I was like, oh, hi, I'm Mrs. Rasmussen. I'll be here in the afternoons every day, but not today. This is my daughter, Fawn. And this is her friend, Addie. They're really nice. If you need anything, they're good people to ask. And she was like, okay. And I guess she like kind of
Oh, good.
clung on to them. And I was like, it's good to have
Oh, yeah.
people right
New
away.
schools are terrifying for kids.
Yeah. And they had to go out in the hall and sign a bus, for like, this is our class.
Oh.
And so, and the Addie and Fawn were like, come out and sign it with us. And I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I was the new kid a lot.
Yeah. I was always the
So-
kid that was like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the clicks are.
Exactly. I was
Who
like,
to stay away from.
yes.
Unless you like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay. On the way in this morning, I heard something on a radio station
Something.
about they were arguing, saying, I don't know why you keep saying that violence and crime is getting much, much bigger in the United States. It's simply not true. This guy, he might have been the mayor of Chicago that was saying this, but
Okay.
I don't know for sure if it was him or not. But he said that violence has not kicked into a higher gear. I don't know why people keep saying that. That's just not true, blah, blah, blah. So I just figured I'd hop on the Star Tribune front page, right?
Right.
This is the front page of the Minneapolis Star, or the Minnesota Star Tribune.
Oh,
it
that's
is
right.
now.
They changed the name.
It's
They
not the Minneapolis
rebranded.
anymore. It's Minnesota Star Tribune. Okay, so here we go. Charges: driver's BAC was .325 when he drove into Park Tavern patio, killing 2 people. I would say it's pretty violent.
Yeah.
20-year term for man who targeted St. Paul home at random for burglary and raped a woman at gunpoint.
Oh,
And the third story on the front page of the Minnesota Star Tribune, St. Thomas student recounts in new memoir, "My roommate shot me in the head."
Oh,
I am not making that up. You can look on the front of this. Those are the 3 top stories.
that
in
doesn't
the
sound very
Star
Star
Tribune.
Tribune-y. Usually they're yay,
Yeah.
yay, everything's
Yeah.
great.
Everything's just fine.
I wonder if they rebranded because they were getting so much criticism about not giving a crap about
I wouldn't doubt it.
everybody else in the state.
Oh
that
my God. I scrolled down the next 2 stories. Fatal shooting reported in South Minneapolis on Tuesday evening. And the 5th one, 3 teens shot near fairgrounds in apparently random attack.
Yeah, I guess the last night of the
Jesus.
fair was a pretty
Oh.
big disaster.
It usually is, I
Oh,
feel.
we were there
Oh,
on
God.
Monday. Sunday, this Sunday was the second highest attended day of the state fair of all time.
Like 280,000 people or
I think
something.
that was this Sunday.
Good Lord.
280,000.
That's why I didn't want to go. Record crowds, no thank you.
That
Monday
very
really
bad.
wasn't bad. I mean, it was busy, but it wasn't unbearably busy.
You go to the state fair, Dougie?
Record crowds
No,
sounds.
I
I
go
didn't-
every 10
That was
years.
Monday.
I didn't
Yeah.
see
Or
you going to the
Sunday.
state
I used
fair.
to like going all the time, but then the crowds. Bleh.
It's so
I don't
crowded
do it
these
anymore.
days. It's
Freaking
insane.
love the fair.
I love my first appearance at the state fair. I love telling the story because I've told it many times, I understand. But 1975, I'm working at WDGY. They said, you have to do your show from the state fair. And I went, what? So I had to go to the state fair every night, 6 to 10 to do my show from there.
Oh, every night.
Every
Oh,
night.
boy.
And I'm up in the booth, and these 3 young guys, looked to be in their teens, came by and started throwing pennies at me. Okay, just pegging me with pennies.
Security.
They're laughing it up. Oh, ha, 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 ha. About, would have been 1990. So all those years later, okay, 15 years later, I'm working with a young guy, and he comes up to me and he goes, remember those guys that were throwing pennies at you at the fair? I said, yes, I do remember. And he goes, that was me and my brothers.
Oh.
You know who the guy was?
Jeff Passel.
You got it. It
Oh
was
my
Jeff Passel and his brothers.
Well,
No
I've
one
heard
is
the story
surprised.
before. Sounds
Well,
like
that's
Jeff
true.
Passel. He was a bit of a piss pot as a child, I understand.
He'd probably still do it today, though.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably
do it
would.
today.
I don't think he shows any sign of ever having grown up.
No.
Well,
And that's one of the things I like about him.
Little
Yeah.
arrested
Passel's
development
great.
there.
honest to God, no question about. Oh, we did finally get to a positive story. You have to go through Mayan Burrell, convicted of felony drug weapons charges related to a 2023 Robbinsdale traffic stop. And then finally, a positive story. 2024 Minnesota State Fair attendance tops post-COVID years, but falls short of record. Just what you were talking about, Alex.
Yep.
It was on what, Sunday?
Sunday. Yep.
It was on Sunday. Yeah, there you go.
Because I
Wow.
know a couple people that were
Oh,
there.
That's because it was great weather for
I
the
say
fair.
the weather
It
was
cooler.
perfect. Yep. Because usually the last Sunday and Monday of the fair is actually pretty low attendance.
Oh,
But I think, yeah, the weather was so perfect. And then we had so many hot days before that they were like,
Yeah, the true.
I remember when you worked at the fair, what a
the
nightmare that
worst
was. It
freaking-
rained and you got pneumonia. You were working a gate,
it was
right?
a terrible,
God.
terrible job. It was horrible.
Why was it so horrible?
You couldn't sit
Oh, at all?
at all. You had to be there from 5:30. Did the
Oh,
gates open at 6 or 7?
They
for the
opened at
state fair.
6?
I don't
I
know.
thought it
Maybe
was
7.
It was
Okay,
early.
so I had to be there at 6:30, and this is when we lived in Dayton.
Yeah.
So I drove.
So it's a good 40-minute
Yeah.
drive.
And I had to be there at 6:30, and you could not sit the whole time. There was no chairs at all. And it was either 1,000 degrees or torrential rain. You got one 30-minute lunch break. And then every few days, you had to go sit at this weird gate completely alone that you didn't even really have to do anything, but it was part of our gate's duty to sit at this other gate that nobody ever came in, no one ever did anything at, but you just had to sit there by yourself for, I think it was like a 3-hour part of your shift.
Oh,
It was, and I got paid, I think $5.25 an hour
Oh, God.
because they don't have to follow labor laws because it's only 10 days.
wow. Yeah,
It was
those
horrendous.
gates are actually owned, right? a friend of yours dad owned a gate? Isn't
No,
that,
no,
Oh, I
he
thought
was
it
like a manager or something like that. It was like I was an employee of the Minnesota State Fair.
Oh, I thought he
That's like
owned the gate.
what I got my $13 paycheck for from. No, I don't know. It was horrible. And the friend that I did it with still does it.
Why?
Because her dad is like the manager of the gate
I
or
know,
something.
but it's
and I
not
was like,
fun and it's
I don't know. I had
no
a
pay.
horrible job. And when I took the job, I said, I already have a job at Caribou Coffee. And if I get shifts, that has to be my priority because that's my actual job. And they're like, oh, yeah. And then one day I couldn't make it to the fair to take tickets, which, by the way, we were at a gate where it's either hardly anyone came in, 1,000 4-H kids came in at a time, or the entertainment would come in and we just have to like check their passes and whatever. So it wasn't a super hot gate. There was a
Right.
lot of people coming in, unless it was all the 4-H kids at one time. And one day I was like, I can't come. I have a shift at Caribou. And the guy, my friend's dad, he acted like I just was like, I'm not showing up today because I don't feel like it. He was so mean to me about it. And I was like, I told you when I took this job that I wasn't going to be able to come if I got a shift. And you're like, oh, that's fine. And he just was like so mean about it. Yeah, it was a terrible job. I know I knew somebody that worked at a Pronto Pup stand in college. And he was like, it's fantastic. It's a great job. It was like, you make so much money. You really don't have to do that much. It's really fun. Like the people that own the Pronto Pup stands are really great. I was like, oh, well, very different than working for the fair.
Well, Tino Lettieri's had a
Mm-hmm.
booth there. Or
Pizza on a
whatever.
stick.
Pizza on a
Oh,
stick for years and
forever.
years and years. Don't.
I got one and because we always get one. And Sage was like, can I have my own? I was like, no.
And if
This is the
anybody's there
first
who we
no.
know, we
Fair.
get them for free.
I know. And he was there that day. Michelle
What?
posted on
Mm.
Instagram
Oh,
that
you
he was there,
missed.
and I missed him. She was like, oh, he's probably getting more supplies or something. And I was like, dang it. Could have got a free one.
That's
was like-
really nice.
I said that he should give people that he knows a passcode.
Ah.
Like, they
Yeah.
should be able to say, like, spaghetti carbonara and get a free one.
Andy, would you do me a favor?
Andy worked at his booth at the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, he
that was
did.
a long time ago.
He
God,
absolutely
that
did.
was like 15.
very-
It was, yeah.
More than 15.
I remember you
Yeah,
complained
probably.
bitterly about it.
Well, the state, it's just so hot. So very hot.
It is hot.
We should have the state fair in January.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Weed
great.
out the weaklings.
The weekly.
Oh, you really want a
Apparently-
pizza on a stick? Well, prove it.
Apparently, if you want to go to Renfest, you should go the weekends that the fair is happening because it's very
Yeah, that
quiet.
makes sense because everyone's going
Speaking
to be
of
at the
that,
fair.
by the way,
Yeah.
we have. Look at this. We have free tickets
to give away.
Give away.
Oh, do we now?
Andy, are we? Oh, Doug, are you doing the Facebook thing now?
I just started yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday.
I don't know. You should talk to Andy. We usually do giveaways on the Facebook page somehow.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Well, here I'll just hand them to Dougie then.
So how do they pick them up when they win?
I
Come
guess
to
you
your
could either
house.
throw them in the mail or they could pick them up here. Not here.
Not here.
Not
They'd
here.
never be
Because
able
we're
to get
never
in.
here really that
No.
much.
We'll
Probably mail
them
them.
to you.
Just
Yeah,
mail
they're
them.
tickets. Yeah, put them in an envelope. Although, how long does it take? When's the Ren Fair end?
Like it goes through
End of
Goes a long
November.
time.
Oh,
I think.
No, no,
yeah,
no.
it goes through early November.
I thought it was over
No.
the end of September.
No, it goes through early November. My neighbor
Really?
told me this yesterday. She said she just looked it up.
Well, these
crazy.
are only good through the end of September.
Oh, okay.
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 I still don't think it goes.
She
into
said,
November.
I thought I was like, I know I'm like, almost positive it goes into October. And she
I
was
thought
like, it
for
goes
sure it went
until
into
the
October.
beginning
Their
of November.
website says weekends through September 29th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, weird. She was
All right,
like,
well, you
she was like,
better-
no, it goes
better get
until
on
early
that.
November,
No,
which
it
I was
goes the end of
surprised.
September every year.
oh, weird.
And apparently they've solved the parking thing where you don't
They
have to
have,
stand
yeah.
in line or
Yeah,
wait for
apparently.
an hour and a half.
That's
We
the-
did that last year and it was absolutely horrendous.
That's the main
Yeah, they-
reason I stopped going was the parking. You have to, because it's one lane you have to be in.
Not anymore.
Yeah, apparently
like
they have a
3
bunch
miles.
of outlots and they shuttle people
Yeah,
there
that's
now.
way better.
Which I don't understand why they didn't always do that.
The driving and parking was just god awful
Yeah.
forever.
But now I guess they've solved that problem.
Mhm.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Well, especially since I feel like it's probably going to get a lot more popular now that COVID's
Yeah.
over for the
Yeah.
most
Yes,
part.
absolutely.
All right, Andy, I need you to look up two things for me.
Uh-huh.
The population of the United States in 1930. And then as soon as you give me that,
I'm guessing that's about
One moment, I have to
90
answer the phone, and
90
then I'll do that.
million maybe.
I have to answer the phone.
somebody
Uh-oh.
calls the second I ask him. to
Might
look
be the
something up.
baby.
No, she wouldn't call on the podcast.
He didn't
line.
say
Yeah,
podcast
he's on the
phone.
No, he's
podcast
on the
phone.
podcast.
Oh, shoot, not the baby.
I haven't seen a phone
She
like
still
that in
has.
years.
She still has a couple weeks.
I
I
know,
know
but
she's hoping to
It
go.
would be
early,
full
but-
term though, so he'd
I
be
know,
fine.
but let's not.
Yeah.
Just calm down, because I will say I had both of my kids late,
Yes.
and everybody
I know
the
you-
month before I was due were like, the baby, and I was like, nope, 6 more weeks, then they show up,
Yeah, you really did hold on to those babies for
Yeah.
a long time.
which I was fine with because I was like, I'm not vomiting 15 times a day, so
That's true.
Why not?
I am
one for the
a-okay with
team.
being pregnant for as long as necessary.
Right.
Whatever. My third trimester was like a freaking breeze compared to the first half of my
Yeah.
pregnancies. So
Okay,
Understandable.
somebody has to look up the current population of the United States. So when he gets back with the 1930s version, there's a reason I need these numbers. though.
Okay.
Because there's a headline in the Wall Street Journal got a kiss ass apparently or something. I don't know what it's all about. But
345 million.
345 million. I thought it was like 315. There's 30 more. Oh, that's right. They all snuck in. I forgot.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what do you
I'm
got?
guessing in
call has been
1930 it was
called.
about 70.
It was 122.
Oh,
122 and it's now 365.
345.
345.
So it's 3 times almost.
Okay,
Wow.
almost 3 times bigger. This is a headline in the Wall Street Journal. Babe Ruth didn't drive in as many tourists as Shohei Ohtani.
Well, of course, there's 3 times
There's
as many.
3 times as many people. They don't include that in there.
I know it's. I hate
Why
when
do they do things
people
like
do
that?
I
that
think
because
people are just stupid.
yeah, they genuinely do not understand per
people
capita.
are just
They don't understand that more people means more tickets sold.
Right.
So
They
they
just-
didn't bring in as many tourists? Is that what they said?
That's what they're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
not to
just-
mention the global appeal of Shohei Ohtani.
Well, and not to mention that global travel wasn't much of a thing.
Yeah,
in
1930.
1923.
Yeah, it was pretty
Exactly.
You
hard
want
to
to take
get
the plane
around.
to America? No, thanks. I'm going to let Chuck Lindbergh see if he can make it first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, get
What
in
happened
my
to Amelia?
get in
Yeah.
my B-17 bomber and we'll head over because that's the only thing that can make it
Well,
across
commercial
the ocean.
air travel was a thing in the 40s.
40s it was, but in the
Yeah,
20s it wasn't.
That's true.
No, not
Let's
in the
see.
20s.
First commercial flight across the Atlantic was in 1939. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Oh my God,
40s.
39.
Yep, the
Yeah, that was-
Boeing B-314 Yankee Clipper.
That's
How many
that's
people did it hold?
amphibious plane, right? I mean, it could land on water.
Oh, which is probably a
I
good
think,
idea.
That was a good idea for the
Especially
first
if-
one.
Yeah. How did they keep?
Yeah, really.
They made it across the Atlantic. Oh, that's kind of impressive.
Yes, it was an amphibious flight
Hmm.
or a plane anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could hold how many people? It doesn't look that big.
Because I know I've seen old photos of some of those planes in the 40s, and they had like wicker baskets to
Yeah.
put your stuff in, and everybody
Yep.
was dressed to the nines.
Capacity
and
of 77, so not a lot, especially if you're flying across the Atlantic.
some of them
How
had
long
like
did it
bus
take?
seating where it was 2 facing each other, so you could like chat.
Well,
the-
Southwest, last time I flew them, they had a couple of seats. that were-
Really?
Yeah.
Did they for like a
I used to
family
like that.
maybe?
Yeah,
Or
well, it was first come, first serve.
Oh,
So
I don't know if I'd want to face some of the people.
yeah. Yeah, sir, I think I'm going to go back.
If you've seen some of the behavior on airplanes these days, I don't know.
Well, Tommy Gorman, remember Tommy, our best man in our wedding, as a matter of fact. He would not sit in the smoking section on an airplane,
Well, yuck. Yeah.
but he would sit in the first row of non-smoking
Yeah,
because he
it's a-
didn't want to sit at the back of the plane.
Well, it's also an airplane. Where's the smoke going?
Yeah, it was just all hanging in the air, just
Yes.
like everywhere.
yeah,
It
gross.
was. There's no question.
Oh,
about
wait.
it.
There was a way to get across the Atlantic before that on a Zeppelin
That took a month or
because
two.
they used to have Zeppelins before the
those don't-
Hindenburg basically destroyed that entire
Yeah, those don't
industry.
go very fast.
No, they do not go very fast. Yeah, from Germany to Brazil, of all things.
Wow.
Yeah, like you could take a Zeppelin. Why
Well,
not?
What was the guy's name that was the manager of NSYNC and all those groups again? Did you ever hear what he started a
Lou Pearlman?
Lou Pearlman. That's exactly who it was. He's dead now.
He
and
sure
died
is.
in prison.
25 years he got for
yeah.
whatever he did.
It's
Conspiracy and money laundering.
money laundering.
Mm.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
fun.
But he started a business of blimps with advertising on them.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's right.
He had all these blimps with advertising. Somehow,
That's a
and
show we were watching.
yeah, it was.
I don't-
Those have been a thing forever.
But I don't know how this happened or whatever. But since it was Lou Pearlman, I don't know. But every one of them somehow got blown out of the air and torn to pieces.
Oh, oopsie.
So in other words, he wasn't making any money, so we wanted to collect the insurance. Is that what we're talking
Insurance
about?
lightning.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a
he-
show about that guy that he started the boy band
Yeah,
craze.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he apparently used to he'd make blimps and then crash them and then sue people and win, of course. All
Oh
right,
my
then.
God. Yeah, he had NSYNC. He had what were the other ones, Alex?
I have absolutely no idea.
but
You
I think
loved
his-
all of them.
I think
but
his-
I don't know who he
I think his first one
managed.
maybe was Backstreet Boys.
He managed all of them.
Yes,
That was
Backstreet
his-
Boys and
he did-
NSYNC.
NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. That seems like a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
really.
what the Backstreet Boys said because they were working their butts off. They
Mhm.
were over in Germany. They were like teenagers. They were singing and singing and singing anywhere in the whole
But
world.
then they
because-
were old news.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he's like, "Oh, these guys are now taking off," and they come back from Europe,
Yeah.
and he's got this new NSYNC started up, and they're like, "Oh,
Yep.
what about us?"
So
You
I got
gotta-
some good information from our caller. Quick.
Ooh, good
Okay.
information.
This weekend at the Renaissance Festival is Woofstock, which is specially designed for you to bring your dogs.
Oh my God, Judy at the Renaissance.
Maybe we don't want to give away those tickets.
Well,
Joe-
keep them
Jude
for
wants to go.
ourselves.
Why don't
No,
you
he
go?
would-
I'll
he
wait
would
at home.
He would eat too many things on the ground.
Yes,
He'd sit
he
for months.
absolutely
There's
would.
no way Jude
They got
could
doggy
survive.
dress up, trick contest. They got a fake fox hunt, it looks like, doggy dash, peanut butter licking contest. Jude would be very good at that.
He would
Yes.
be. He would win.
Yeah, so there you go. Musical sit. So I guess when the
Musical
music
sit.
goes off,
And
the dog
everyone's
has
yelling
to
at their
sit.
dog,
Sit.
"Sit!"
Yep.
That's got to be hilarious.
Yep. So there you go. If you want to bring your dog to Renaissance Festival, this is the weekend.
Okay, we have to re-reference for just 1 second
Okay.
because you guys got to tell Uncle Dougie about Alex and her friend meeting NSYNC.
We've gone
Said
through
this
this
I don't think
story.
Dougie's
I think
ever
I've-
heard
I
it.
think I've heard
He's
this
the-
before.
What's your guys' favorite foods?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've heard it. Okay.
Everybody knows.
Every-
I just love
everyone
What's
in
your guys'
Minnesota.
favorite foods?
and Justin
What?
Timberlake goes, what?
And then, well, first he said, "Is she speaking English?"
He did. He said, as if she was
She's speaking in English, Norwegian, pidgin language, actually.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty much pigeon
And,
language. there's no
and
question
I
about it.
had to say what she was saying, and then the manager repeated it so they
Yeah.
knew what. And they're
Mhm.
like, cereal.
They
I
did
was
I think
all
some of
that.
them said
Nothing.
pizza.
Yeah, pizza and cereal.
Yeah,
that was
probably,
exactly
yeah.
right.
Two
Cereal.
very safe answers.
Yes.
No question about it.
And make the kids happy and say foods that they like.
This is a pretty good headline in the Wall Street Journal. It would appear that Dow edges higher, oil prices fall. So the stock market, well, it's not up across the board. It's just
Well,
up
there's
in
been a promise of rate cuts right before the election.
no, that
conveniently.
yeah,
Mhm.
there you go. What a shock!
Yep.
But oil prices falling, that's good news. Well, we did see. It wasn't $2.99, but it was right on
I
$3.
saw
I've seen a couple.
302 or something
Yeah,
Mm, that's pretty
at
good.
this weird gas station up on what is that? Cenium and County Road 6.
oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
They always seem to have really cheap prices over there. I think it's because they're behind, they're past the Home Depot. So people don't even know they're there.
Yeah, no question about.
I was
by the
very
way,
excited.
I want to run this by Dougie, being a car guy. For Volkswagen, the bumpy road to electric vehicles starts to hit home.
Volkswagen's in tough shape.
That's what I
And
hear.
It's
Really?
not really the EV thing.
Oh, it's not.
It is kind of, but where they in the 90s, they were the first big manufacturer, and VW is kind of a fairly big deal in the
Mhm.
US, but worldwide, them and Toyota are like the top volume producers.
Right.
They went all in China and made just a shitload of money in the 90s and the early
Okay.
O's, thinking, well, they'll never copy our technology.
Oh,
They didn't really
God.
invest it
Yeah.
very
Oh,
well.
God. Oh.
Now the Chinese auto market is just roaring, and
Yep.
it's
What?
it's coming this to a dealership near you
I
soon.
thought was it VW that got in a bunch of trouble for their
They
emissions
did. They
testings
cheated on
too?
diesels. They
Really?
they programmed their car, and somebody else just got busted for this too. I think Toyota. That when the testers would plug in, this is really getting technical and boring. I'll try to keep it short. Into the OBD socket to test for emissions, the engineers at Volkswagen had a way to make the emission system work properly so it would pass the test. But as soon as you pulled it out, it would start not functioning. So the car would have better performance, better
Oh.
mileage.
Oh.
Mhm.
And yeah, they got in big trouble. with
They
that.
got popped big time.
Yep.
Big fines.
And I know you've got an electric car. You know what Electrify America is, right? It's one of the big
Mhm.
national charging deals. The U.S. government forced Volkswagen to pay for that. All
Oh,
the EA stations are funded by Volkswagen
huh.
Oh.
as a payback for it. It's called Dieselgate.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, they're in tough shape right now. They're gonna, for the first time ever, they're talking about having layoffs at 2 of their plants in Germany.
Really?
Ooh.
And Volkswagen is that's the biggest business in Germany, not the biggest car business, just all of them.
Really?
So it's things are changing.
No. So what's going to go on with electric vehicles? Because it looks like a lot of people don't want to go anywhere near them because of all the trouble they have.
Yeah, I don't. Well, you own one. I own one. I think they're awesome.
I
We've
think
got
yeah.
one more or less. We got that
Yeah.
hybrid Chrysler Pacifica.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a hybrid too.
Yeah, it's got 30-mile battery, which isn't
Yeah.
a ton, but it's like,
It's
it's enough for
it's a
For
ton
most.
for a
tooling
lot,
around
yeah.
town. Yeah.
We've
for
had
sure.
it for a few months and we filled up 4 times, I think.
Yeah,
So it's like, and we use it a lot.
I personally don't think that the change is going to come as fast as the manufacturers thought 2 years
Right,
ago. That
right.
By
Yeah.
2030, blah blah blah.
Yep.
And but there's a lot of people, and it's fun to throw darts at it, that either hate them or don't understand them, and they're like, "Look, Ford's cutting back on production of this." Well, they're auto manufacturers; they always do that.
Yeah,
They always try
yeah.
to shift to try to figure out what people are going to do.
Well, there are
Low
problems
gas
with
prices probably slow down electric. If gas was
Yeah.
$6 or $7 a gallon,
Yeah.
the number one selling car in the world still is a Tesla Model Y, though. So I mean, the market
Is
hasn't
it
died.
really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I do
Yeah.
see a lot of them.
I see a lot of Teslas, a surprising amount of them.
and that's worldwide. So for years it was the Toyota Corolla. That was the
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was the
selling car in
F-150
the
for
world.
a long time.
And
Aren't they
I'm
not
talking
making those
about,
anymore?
I'm not talking worldwide sales, Andy, not U.S.
Oh.
The F-150 only sells in North America.
I thought they stopped. Aren't they stopping making a
the
very
Corollas?
popular truck? I just read an article about
Huh.
that Ford's going to stop making a.
Well, they'd be
Very
very,
popular
very
truck.
dumb to stop making the F-150. I can
Well,
tell you
yeah,
that.
that's their
Look it up.
money.
I believe they
because they
said.
only make 3. They make a Maverick, and then the Ranger. But F-150 is by far their biggest sales volume and revenue generator. Always has been.
They are discontinuing the Transit Connect, the
That's good. That thing was terrible.
Edge, Explorer Hybrid, and the Fiesta.
Oh, they're getting rid of the Explorer
Ford Fiesta's
Hybrid.
still
I didn't even know
around.
they
Apparently.
made the Fiesta.
Yeah,
Apparently,
Fiesta. Oh, they're getting rid of the Edge. That's not surprising.
yeah.
But that Explorer hybrid they're
Hybrid.
getting rid of.
Huh.
Was the Edge electric?
No,
What was
It's the one that was
What
like
was the
it's
one
an-
that was starting
it's a
on
mid-size
fire all over the
SUV
place?
that was like bubbly a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the back.
No, the Ford Transit E-Connect that's a terrible electric vehicle. It'll go 70 miles maybe on a good charge. And they
Oh.
thought that plumbers and electricians would buy them, and they're almost completely sale proof.
Well, yeah, I
Oh.
mean, plumbers and electricians probably put in 400 miles on a given day. So.
Actually, when you think about it, they usually just go to one place and stay there all day. It's they're going to a job site. So
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm kind of out where 30 miles isn't a ton of miles. So to me, it's in like the city, I'm sure 70 miles it gives you a whole day worth of
Sure.
worth of work. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I discovered that I did not know. That Ford Mustang EV that I have is the fastest car I've ever
Yeah.
driven.
No, I know.
Thing
It's
can
blinding
kick.
Oh,
EVs
fast.
can. Our
God, they're
gigantic
fast.
van our city
Woo.
on wheels can accelerate like
Yeah.
crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the first time I had to really you're waiting for a gap in traffic and you have to pull out quick.
Mhm.
The first time I did that, I was like, wow, this thing has more pickup than the average.
Yeah.
The
Well,
average
it's
sedan.
instant on. I mean,
Yep.
you just floor it and it's there.
Boom.
Yep, there's no revving. It's just,
Yep.
yeah. If they didn't have safeguards in place, you could probably flip any EV
Oh, I would
by
think
just
so.
by just flooring it.
Yeah, I could
Maybe.
see that.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's not without its problems with the whole, mining cobalt and stuff. It's still, there's some ethical concerns for
Yeah,
me. I mean, I
yeah.
know I've got a hybrid and I didn't find that stuff out until
Well,
afterwards. I was like, oh my God, this is bad.
yeah, you're right, but you realize they use cobalt to refine gasoline too.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Uh-oh. They don't ever mention that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
That's true.
And actually, I think Tesla, the 3 and the Y, and then maybe one of their other mid-range ones, they don't use cobalt in their batteries anymore. They stopped 3 years ago.
What do they use?
I don't know. I'm a car salesman, not a chemist.
Isn't all cobalt in Africa?
Most of it
A
is
lot
in
of
the
it is,
Congo.
yes.
A lot of it,
70% of it
And they
comes from
force these little
Australia's
kids
got
to
some
do it.
pretty big deposits,
Yeah.
but
Oh, they
I don't
do?
think they're really mining them for some reason. Tesla is using cobalt-free LFP, which would be apparently iron phosphate.
Oh,
I don't know why not everyone can use that.
I don't know. I think that technology is going to, they keep talking about solid state batteries, and if they ever get one to work, that will be a huge game changer, because they'll be twice the storage capacity and about a third of the weight.
that will be really good.
yeah.
Because I also read an article about the fact that everybody thinks that EVs are cleaner than a gas powered engine, but the fact that they are so heavy that they put rubber particulates in the air because they go through tires faster.
Well, it depends on how you drive them. If you drive them like Tom, yeah, they go through tires.
Oh, here we go. Typical backstab.
So I guess, it's kind of between the mining and
Right.
the tires, it's a
Every-
toss up between
everything
what
you
is
do. Well,
greener.
you guys watch The Good Place, right?
I
Yes.
have.
Well,
I did. I watched all of
I
it.
watched
Yeah.
a few episodes.
Oh, well, I won't spoil the ending then.
I probably won't go back to it.
Oh, all right. Well, spoiler alert for the show that's been off the air for 5 years at this point.
Probably, yeah.
So at the big reveal is that everyone is going to the bad place, and they're like, okay, so why? No one's going to the good place anymore. And it turns out that they're still using the old rule set that they had in place for 2,000 years, where it's like, if you do something a little bad, it accumulates. It's like karma.
Mhm.
But in today's society, it's basically impossible to do anything without it negatively impacting something.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, you turn on your
Yes.
TV,
Oh,
you're burning electricity,
Mhm.
which burns gasoline, which pollutes the environment. You buy a phone, that's polluting the environment. It's slave labor.
Or you could do
you're-
something that you think is really positive, but it
right.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
buy an
Impacts.
EV.
Everything is connected now, and basically, it's like everything produces more entropy than it used to, because
Sure.
Yeah.
that's just how the world is.
Mhm.
And that was the main point of that show. It's
Mhm.
like you kind of have to tweak your expectations when it's not possible to live
Yeah.
without, you're going to cause some cobalt to be mined somewhere, no matter what you do. You just
Yeah.
have to try to do something to offset it. Or maybe don't, like I said, I think yesterday, maybe don't buy the new iPhone every single time it comes out.
Yeah.
That'll save on electronic waste, save on some batteries being produced.
Yeah.
If everyone lowered their consumption of smartphones by 50%,
Yes.
and that right there is probably the majority of batteries produced is
Well,
smartphones.
And people don't
Yeah.
know this because it hasn't been widely publicized, but when your tablets and your smartphones, it used to be that you could not change the battery in Apple products.
yeah,
They made it so that you could not, but they got sued because of that. And you can change the batteries
isn't
in
that
those
only
stupid
in the
things.
EU?
I thought it was the United States too. And changing a battery is way less expensive than buying a new
Yeah,
phone.
sure. And the battery's going to be what fails, because these batteries,
Right. 'cause
they've got a good 3 to 5 years and then an okay another 5 after that, which, I mean, 10 years is a long time
Well,
for a smartphone.
It
But
just seems like they start slowing down, or they don't hold.
Yes,
they just
they-
don't hold their charge as long. So you just get annoyed, and you're like, "Oh, I need a new phone," and you don't
Mhm.
even think that you can just go get a new battery,
right.
but you can now, especially with the Apples, because they were not allowing that because
Yep.
they're greedy guts.
Well, every phone now is fully sealed. You can't replace them yourself.
No, you have to take it in. And
Yeah, you have to take it in, and you might get it back in 2 weeks. You got no phone
if
until
you-
then. It's
really, if you make an appointment at an Apple store, they won't just do it right there.
I don't know I don't know if the Apple Store is quick
Or
about it,
Best Buy.
but most companies, I'm sure you have to send it in.
Have you guys been in a Best Buy lately?
Yeah,
My God, they sell everything.
they
Yeah.
do.
They sell everything.
they're not doing well.
They're not doing great. now.
Their stock just went up because they're doing something.
Oh
I
yeah.
know people that work for Best Buy, and it's not good.
Hmm.
Oh, really?
They're
Well, it's not like it used to
firing
be.
people
Yeah.
constantly.
Well, like in the 90s when everyone was
like-
constantly going to Best Buy, it's not like that anymore.
No.
Well, everything's online. You buy everything online.
But sometimes you want to make sure that you like the thing.
I agree.
I
But
don't
like
know.
when we bought our TV, we went and looked at TVs because it's like you can just buy it online, sure, but then you don't really know if it's a piece of crap or not.
Well, and we went in there, Tom. What did we go in there for? Did we go in there for a TV or a computer or something?
We went in there to give them stuff to recycle.
Yeah, but we also bought something, and we were talking, and there was a guy who actually knew what the hell he was talking about.
No, that's
Wow.
right. We did.
So, I mean, because that's 90% of the problem. If you've got a store that has, refrigerators and home security systems, and somebody's trying to sell everything and they don't know anything about anything,
Yeah.
then why should I go there? But if
Mm.
you're going to go in and get some decent advice and they're actually helpful, yeah, the guy climbed up on a ladder and got the box down for us. And I
Yeah,
think it was a
yep.
computer monitor or something.
Something like that.
And he was great. And he was, and we were like, well, between this one and this one says it has this. And he explained it. And he wasn't like, oh, here's these boomers. Let's,
Yeah.
just treat them like crap. He was very nice. So
Are
we had
you
a good
sure
experience
you're
there.
not looking for the jitterbug?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know where you are?
Yes. Do you know how to turn on a computer?
You
This
know phones
isn't-
don't have dials anymore, right?
Okay,
Exactly.
Andy, we're going to test my memory. Because Dick Schultz, of course, owns Best Buy, became a multi-billionaire. Wasn't the store first called, before it was Best Buy, wasn't it called The Sound of Music?
The sound of
I
music.
think it was.
I think it was called
Really?
The Sound of Music.
Let's see. You are correct.
The sound of
Sound of music, which sold hi-fis.
It sold high
Hi-fis.
fives.
Mhm.
Wow, there's a
Wow.
word you don't hear
The fact that I
anymore.
even know that hi-fi is short for high fidelity is shows my age.
And there was also known that at the height of their business, where they were just selling billions of dollars of stuff, they had one of the greatest voiceover talents ever born.
Oh,
the guy was
what was
just-
his name?
I can't, Tom something.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, it was Kevin Spacey.
I like
And-
that Sound of Music earned $58,000 in profits in its first year.
Oh,
Which
I
is
think they
probably
started
good
up
back
in
then.
Roseville, if I remember.
that
right.
might be right.
One of the first ones, yes. That was the largest and most profitable of them, of
What
the
was-
first 9.
What was Shock? Remember Shock?
Shock Electronics.
It was an electron. I mean, what were they selling?
SCHAAK.
Because I remember a friend of mine from high school, her father was a lawyer and they had a houseboat on the St. Croix. And I got to go there a few times with her. And Mr. Shock, whatever his name was, he had this gigantic boat.
His name would have been Leander, or possibly Richard, if you're talking about Leander's son.
Oh, what did they sell? What, I mean, was it
Stereos and
Audio
it was-
related
oh,
products.
so
yeah.
they were basically a Best Buy competitor
Well, they were a Sound of Music competitor.
Yeah.
or Sound of
technically.
Music competitor.
So
and
who-
what happened to Shock?
Let's see. Looks like it closed in 1986.
Wow, that long
Really?
ago.
It's-
They were very
been a
rich
while.
when
Yeah.
I was in high school.
Yeah, on April 25th, 1986, they went to the state fair with all of their stuff and they just sold it all off.
Really?
And they made $1 million in sales in one day doing that.
What happened
Dying.
to that store concept that they would close? I mean, because Amazon wasn't really a thing
Well,
back
they couldn't
then.
compete
No, they
with
were-
Sound
they
of
went-
Music.
They went bankrupt in 85, closed in 86.
Bankrupt,
They just,
wow.
I don't know.
He was living large there for a long time.
Spent all his money on boats.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, for
there
real.
you go.
Yeah,
That'll happen.
in 1980, they were making $50 million a year.
Holy God.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
Where did all the money go? You have to wonder.
There you have it.
All
All right. If we go 5 minutes longer, I can just stay here for the morning show.
That's being a little dramatic, but
A little dramatic. That is going to do it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
bye.
Got a picture in my pocket, reminds me of this one was before. Every time I get to see it, reminds me how you talking